We play and call it work.
Hello everybody and welcome to our Hedonites of Slaanesh review. Vito and Steve from MiniWarGaming here to discuss our first impressions of a Battletome that we're both actually very excited about.
Very excited.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And just a quick heads up, we did play a game that's in the MiniWarGaming vault right now. You can watch that right after you watch our review. I want to knock off a couple of things right away. You can hear the echo. This is our first video in the new studios. And all the soundproofing on the roof the ceiling hasn't been installed yet, but it will be done real soon. So I don't know if you guys can hear the echo that I'm hearing right now. So if it is, apologize, bear with us. We're getting there. And
There.
we're also obviously sitting in front of the Slaanesh wall, which is not fully decorated yet, but you can't see those panels yet, but they're getting there. The other three walls are mostly done. Or that one's done, that one's done. That's the
Corn.
Nurgle.
Nurgle. Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. So, we're gonna go give our first impressions of this book. We've had this book for about a day, and we've looked through it. And so at MiniWarGaming, we have kind of this unspoken rule where we don't overlap content producers on a particular faction. This is the first time that we're kind of breaking that rule. Vito and I are so into this book, this army, that we're both going to be covering this one.
Yeah, I think like when I first came to MiniWarGaming, I had said that Slaanesh was my favorite god.
Yep.
And I think Steve even said that Slaanesh was his kind of favorite god.
Yep.
And I think it goes Tzeentch, which
That's my second favorite.
It's my second favorite as
second
well.
Favorite.
But I think we then differ because I think mine's Khorne.
My least favorite is Khorne.
Yeah, my third favorite is Khorne.
Okay, so
then for me it goes Nurgle. Nurgle's my least favorite.
We have a very small deviation.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting how we kind of similar in some regards as well. Yeah. And why is Slaanesh your favorite?
Okay, this is actually very simple. I think Khorne is too overplayed. I'll use overplayed, but you understand what I mean by that. Nurgle is too popular, and it's down to Slaanesh and Tzeentch, obviously. And Slaanesh really is the finesse speed army, and I've forever been all about maneuverability, and I don't play with a hammer, and I like the movement shenanigans and stuff like that. So it is very much my style. It is very much weirdly the closest to the Elven of the gods, right?
Oh yeah, and you like the Elven.
I've always been weirdly see, it's weird because in D&D I refuse to play an elf.
It's true.
But like in all my miniatures games, I never realized just like about high elves, Eldar, dark elves, dark Eldar, Deepkin. I've always had the elf army. For some reason, I've always been drawn to them. I don't know why. I'm just realizing this, semi recently. But yeah, it's the closest to the elf. Well, they have a very close connection to the elves anyway. Or elves and Eldar. It's
funny that you went when I asked that question. You went immediately to the gameplay.
Yes,
and that's something that kind of relates. Because for me, the reason why I love Slaanesh so much is the pursuit of the perfection.
So there's okay.
And then there's the artistic side.
So you're grabbing the lore of it.
Yes, that's the reason why I love Slaanesh. The reason why I love Slaanesh so much.
Before we get on, I just want to point something out before we get a bunch of weird comments that I'm having a bad allergy day. That's why I look like this. And I sound like this. However, continue on.
Yeah. That's one reason why I love Slaanesh so much is the pursuit of perfection, the artistic side, and once in a while, why not get down into some depravity? Right, Steve?
Depravity. Yeah. See, okay, so I don't know if we've ever discussed this, but we may have. We talk about a lot of things. For gaming, there's a hierarchy of what's most important to me. For me, it's the miniatures.
Okay.
Then the play style. So I want to do the collection and the painting, then the play style, and then the lore's there as well, but the play style is important because I like the lore. And if I can't stand the play style, if I don't enjoy the play style. So these aren't my favorite miniatures. Whoa. They weren't my favorite miniatures. The new ones are amazing. They weren't my favorite miniatures, but they were up there. But it is a play style I truly enjoy.
Fair enough. For me, it's I don't care about playstyle. I'll learn it if I can. For me, it's all about the miniatures. If it's something that's very evocative, then I'll go headlong right into it. The lore, that encapsulates a lot for me as well. And then I'll learn the rules and go from there.
Hobby-wise, I think we are strikingly similar.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, so, well, we have a brand new Chaos Battletome, Hedonites of Slaanesh.
Very beautiful art, by the way. I'm a
Yes.
big person into art, so I really like the brand new cover. It's very nice.
Now, we're not going to go over every last bit, but we will. And actually, okay, so here's the thing. We're just moving into this new building. Today was actually a day scheduled to continue the move.
Yep.
This is our last day of the move, but we worked so hard. We got ahead and we were able to get this done. But that obviously means there's not going to be a paired bat rep with this. We just can't do it. However, we'll see what actually we can do for our vault members. Okay, so Hedonite host. We'll start with the Allegiance abilities, and then as we get to the new models, I'm sure most of you have seen them on the Warhammer community site. They're absolutely beautiful.
Incredible.
Are you very familiar with the Slaanesh rules previous to this book?
No, I'm not. I've played. There was actually one game. It was, I think, a 2v2 that I did with. What was the gentleman's name?
You meet too many people.
That's the problem. But
Faces armies, no problem.
yeah. It was an incredible fun game. He does run Slaanesh quite a bit. And I think that was my first experience with Slaanesh.
I found the Slaanesh previously to be just very boring.
Okay.
Not enough options. It wasn't a lot there. There wasn't a lot of meat there, obviously, thus the new Battletome. So I wasn't overly interested in playing with them. And every time I played against them, actually I had to play with them once. They were fast, but it wasn't enough. Every time I played against them, it just felt like an auto win. Like they just didn't hold up. My first impression going over this, my first impression is going over this book is, I'm not sure where this book is in the power level, but it's going to be more than playable. I suspect after some time, some combos are going to appear. Okay, so let's start off with the Allegiance abilities. We'll go over them completely because they may not have changed or changed slightly, but we still have summoning.
Yep.
We have the first rule called Feast of Depravities. You can summon a unit of Slaanesh demons to the battlefield if you collect enough depravity points. Each time a wound or mortal wound is inflicted on an enemy model by an attack made by a friendly Slaanesh hero, or a spell cast by a friendly Slaanesh hero, and the enemy model is not slain by the wound or mortal wound, you receive 1 depravity point. Okay, so you get depravity points to summon models onto the field. Characters, heroes, that do wounds that don't kill a model will get you a depravity point.
And it's important to know, because you did say about magic or spell casting, a lot of the Slaanesh heroes surprisingly can cast spells.
A lot of them.
A lot of them can. That's really cool.
So, with just that first sentence, I'm already thinking, okay, now I want to maximize my heroes, but let's continue on. See what else I need to do to get depravity points. In addition, this table is not bolted down yet. In addition, every time a wound or mortal wound is allocated to a friendly Slaanesh hero and is not negated, so basically if you have the ability to ignore his wounds, that's going to stop it, and that friendly model is not slain by that wound or mortal wound, you receive 1 depravity point. So our second way of gaining depravity points is our heroes to get chipped away at.
And I kind of like that. That kind of harkens back to the old kind of Slaanesh mentality of pain from pleasure.
Exactly.
I kind of like how they integrated that into an actual rule.
So if you have any depravity points at the end of your movement phase, you can spend them. You can summon a unit within 12 of their character, 9 inches away from enemy models. We'll go over a few. Like the cheapest thing you can get is 10 demonettes for 9 depravity points.
Yep.
The most expensive is 3 secret chariots or 1 keeper of secrets for 30 depravity points. With everything else in the book in between, obviously.
Yeah. I think the second most expensive thing is 30 demonettes for 25 depravity points.
Yeah.
Which is still a pretty big unit.
Yeah.
Especially like we'll talk a little bit later on, especially with 30 demonettes and what they can do.
So I will touch on something right now before we move on. So keep that in mind as we talk about the rest of this stuff. I don't know, after going through all this book, if you're going to be summoning a lot of stuff. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to do 1 summon a game, maybe 2.
If there are certain combos that we are going to talk about that can allow you to generate more
for sure.
Depravity points, but I'm tending to agree with
Yeah,
Steve.
so-
this is a first glance. There may be other combos that we haven't fully unlocked yet.
For sure. We haven't played with this yet.
No.
We tried to play some games beforehand, but we literally, as you can see, these studios are almost ready, but not quite. We're out of our old building. We're not ready to play yet, but we're really close. Yeah, we haven't had a chance to test this. So this is all theory we're talking about,
Yeah.
and we suspect that summoning's not going to be their biggest thing. It'll be an extra bonus thing you do in the game, which is fine because their summoning thing is not their only stuff. They got plenty more to go on here. Okay, so we have hosts of Slaanesh. These were also, they're not new. We had the Pretenders, the Invaders, and the Godseekers. I don't know what to call this word, but if you're familiar with like the Beasts of Chaos, they had herds. The Stormcast Eternals have chambers. The Deep can have enclaves, and just like sub-factions in the faction. There's 3 here, the Invaders, the Pretenders, and the Godseekers. If you are one of them, you gain the keyword, and we'll get to what that gives you shortly. A new ability, I think this is new. I'm pretty sure this is new. They have the Locus of Diversion. I'm all stuffy. Why don't you take this one?
Okay, so the Locus of Diversion. At the end of the charge phase, each friendly Hedonite hero that is within 6 inches of an enemy unit can create a Locus of Diversion. If they do, pick one enemy unit that is within 6 inches of a Hedonite hero and roll a die, adding 2 if that Hedonite hero is a greater demon. On a 4+, that enemy unit fights at the end of the following combat phase, after the players have picked any other units to fight in the combat phase. You cannot pick the same unit as the target for the ability more than once in the same charge phase, whether the roll is successful or not.
Okay, so also it continues to explain that if you have an ability that makes you fight first, you just cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are game-winning abilities.
I think so.
Now, it's a 50-50. It's not always going to work. But I mean, that's why we play dice games. Not everything works all the time, right? So you can have your characters just being... If you watch any of my Deep Combat reps, knowing what you're going to fight first, or they're not going to get a chance to fight back, is so overwhelmingly powerful in Age of Sigmar. So our second ability, also dependent on characters, and a fantastic one in my opinion.
Yep.
Again, can't bank on it, but it's potentially game winning. We also have the Euphoric Killer special rule.
This one is incredible, and this harkens back to what I was saying, that if you're able to summon in like 30 demonettes, this one is really great. So if an unmodified hit roll of an attack made with a melee weapon of a Chaos Slaanesh model is a 6, that attack inflicts 2 hits instead of 1. So you make a rune roll, save the normal, but if the attacking model unit is 20 or more, that 6 becomes 3.
Yes.
That is huge.
That's just your allegiance ability. You roll 6s to hit, you get a 2 or 3 if you big low block. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's unmodified. Everything's gone that way. But it's fantastic.
It is unmodified. That's a big thing. I remember you and I were talking at our desks. There was one little thing where you get to...
Yeah, there's a number of command abilities or relics that are going to actually help with this. There is one that gives you +1 to hit. I got all excited for it. I missed the unmodified. That doesn't work.
That would have been crazy on 5s and 6s.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah. But there are some other abilities that will work with this coming up. Either way, those are your allegiance abilities in the Hedonites of Slaanesh. Okay, I don't know if I want to talk on these yet.
And these meaning the Invaders, the Pretenders, and the Godseekers.
Let's jump ahead for a second and talk about the new piece of terrain called the Thane of Slaanesh. This one, it's free, so you're going to take it. You're going to buy one, you're going to take it. 100%. Is it the best piece of terrain? No. Is it the worst? No. It's not the Sylvan with Wildwood. It's not. What's the worst one? Probably the
Which one are you thinking?
Flesh Eaters.
Okay.
But again, whatever. Okay, so this thing's actually pretty cool looking. It's a scenery you place wholly within your territory, 12 inches away from enemy territory. If you spend depravity points and that unit... when you spend depravity points, you set the units up within 12 of a character or this piece of terrain. If you set them up within this piece of terrain, 12 inches of terrain, after setting them up, this terrain will give you D3 depravity points. Okay.
It's not bad. I mean,
it's not terrible, but it also has this special rule, Damned Conduit. At the start of your hero phase, you pick one Chaos / hero. You know what? That one, let's talk about that for one quick second. I don't know why, but everywhere it says Chaos / hero.
And not just Slaanesh hero?
Right.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. Nothing. There's nothing there, but I don't know. There's just, why are they adding Chaos / hero? Like, all these demons are Chaos. One friendly Chaos / hero within 6 of this terrain feature may make a sacrifice. If you do so, that hero suffers 1 mortal wound, and you must roll a die. On a 1, and nothing happens. On a 2+, you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by that hero until your next hero phase. So that's really cool. You do 1 mortal wound to a model, and you get to reroll hits to a hero. Now, that's the third thing we're talking about that is based around your Slaanesh heroes. This book is very much a hero hammery book, even though the units are actually fantastic. There's more evidence telling you like you probably want to play with your max 6 heroes every game. Also,
and sorry to interrupt, but that's also another way for you to generate that extra depravity point is taking that mortal wound to yourself. Correct?
Yep, you're right.
Because it says just hero, and if you are within, 6 inches of yourself, boom, you take a mortal wound to yourself, but you could also get that extra depravity point.
6 inches of the terrain. But yeah,
of the terrain.
So that, I never thought of that. So that's actually pretty good.
Because it says right there, you make a sacrifice. So it's almost like you're taking the wound on yourself, but you also get that extra depravity point. So if you want to start racking up depravity points, here's a little bit of an extra edge to get more depravity points. Is it worth it?
8 point.
It's situational,
well,
maybe.
Here's why. First of all, I just did a quick double check while you're saying that. You only have one of these, so you can't do. You only have one sacrifice. You can't cut a bunch of heroes for a bunch of points. That would be really powerful. But there are a number of ways of healing characters as well. So you can.
There are. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
You can give yourself some cuts. Get that point.
Oh, that's still dark.
Exactly. Well, there's the
That's
cutting
so
one.
nice. Hey.
And then you heal back up and you're fine. Now there's another way, which I don't think I would ever do, but hey, you never know. If the hero has an artifact of power, they can sacrifice the artifact instead of suffering a mortal wound, and it just destroys the artifact.
I don't know if I do that.
You know what? There might be an instance where you have like a mediocre artifact that is not going to help you in the combat phase, and you have like 1 wound left on a model, and you don't want to sacrifice. Like maybe. I don't think I could ever see a situation where I would do it.
There is one of the things where you get to take 2 artifacts of power.
Command traits.
Sorry, that's command trait.
Yeah,
Never mind.
trait.
Scratch that.
Yep. I know what you're talking about. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
My apologies. Okay, so
Let's skip over the path to glory.
Yes, I do want to go back. So we have our War Scrolls next. So I want to go back over to our hosts.
Oh, the hosts.
Okay, so real quickly, let's talk about the quick lore of Slaanesh. We haven't read. I haven't read the lore. Have you read the lore yet?
I've read the lore on my favorite subfaction.
That's fair. Okay, so if you okay, first let me explain that I haven't read all of it yet. I've read some of the stuff explaining where a little bit of what's going on with Slaanesh. I'm gonna for the next 30 to 60 seconds. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. So if you want to skip that and read it for yourself, just jump ahead a little bit in this video. Tell you what, I'll keep my hand up until you can come back over. So Slaanesh, unless I haven't read the part yet, Slaanesh is still missing. I haven't found Slaanesh being released yet. So we have the Invaders, the God Seekers, and the Pretenders. So the God Seekers are searching for Slaanesh.
Yes.
They want to find the Dark Prince, Prince of Thirst. I forget that's what it's called. Yeah. They want to find him or her and bring him or her back. The Pretenders are various heroes that they think they are the next Slaanesh. They're ready to take over as the next big god.
That's correct.
And they think they're the big baddie. And the Invaders are just out there causing havoc.
In a nutshell.
That's the very basic, minimalistic of what these 3 hosts are.
Cliff notes.
Cliff notes. There you go. Let's get on to what they do. Okay. Again, this table's not bolted down yet. All right, let's talk about the Invaders first. Actually, before we talk about the Invaders, Pretenders, and God Seekers, Do you have a favorite?
My favorite currently are the Pretenders.
I think the Pretenders. So
Both rules wise and lore wise. I like the Pretenders because they have this. It says right here, and they think themselves immortal and infallible.
That's Slaanesh for you,
right? I mean, yeah, that's Slaanesh. They think themselves to be Slaanesh.
Yeah.
And if Slaanesh actually did come out, I think there'd be a little bit of a reckoning.
Oh, buddy, would there be?
But I don't know.
The Pretenders are the first to be hunted when the God Seekers find Slaanesh. I think the God Seekers are my favorite, but I don't know. I think all three are going to be playable. Now, which one has the best lore? That's up for debate. Okay, so if you play the Invaders, you know what? To make this make sense, we better go over the War School Battalions real quick.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm going to explain something before we go on. For the first time, I believe it's the first time, each individual hosts, these sub-factions, they actually tweak the battalions. So let's go over the battalions real quick, and then we'll go over then we'll go over all these things because they're going to tweak the battalions. I don't want to explain how the Invaders are going to tweak the battalions if you don't know what they do yet. So let's do that first. Okay, so there's 4 battalions. There's a Hedonite host, which is basically a battalion of all of the other 3. I do think this might be played. I'm going to try it. It's very expensive. I'm going to try it.
Very expensive.
So let's start off with the Supreme. I can't say this word. Cyberite?
Cyberites?
Okay, this is your battalion of characters. It has 3 to 6 Chaos Slaanesh heroes,
which emphasizes the fact that they want this army to be a hero-heavy army.
More evidence. Okay, I'll tell you right now, if we can stop bringing that joke up or that line up, I don't think I'll ever play a Slaanesh game without my max 6 heroes.
Okay.
That's one of my first impressions going with this book. Okay, so this battalion is about 120-ish points, and what it does is you have 3 to 6 heroes. At the start of your hero phase, you roll a die. If the number of that die is equal to or less than the number of heroes from this battalion that are still in the battlefield, you receive 1 command point. It's okay. It's not bad.
Just a way to farm more command points.
Yep.
So let's say you have 6 max. You're guaranteed on a die roll, when you roll, whatever you roll, you're guaranteed to get that command point. If you have all 6.
Now, what more than that is, you're gaining a command point for bringing a battalion. You're gaining an extra relic, which you're going to need because you want to bring 6 characters. So it's not expensive. I'm going to use this one a lot. Also, there are a number of other ways to get a bunch of command points. This can be a command point heavy army as well. Okay, the next one. It's called the Epicurean Revelers. This one has 2 to 6 units of Demonettes, 0 to 4 Hellflares, Exalted Chariots, or Fiends in any combination. This one is simple. It's about 140-ish points, 140, 160, I can't remember. For every unmodified wound roll of 6 for the Demonettes, just the Demonettes in this attachment, is a mortal wound. And then the attack stops. Yeah, so it's not a mortal wound in addition to, it just does a mortal wound instead. Again, the ability is not terrible. It's a little more expensive side, but not too expensive, but it's going to give you that relic you're going to need. Yeah, it's going to lower your drops. It's going to give you another command point. We also have the Seeker.
Hold on a sec. If it's unmodified 6, inflicts 1 mortal wound, does that generate, it does 3?
No, only because, if you keep reading, see what happens.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
And
But
me, I'm
with it, we're constantly trying to find more ways of,
Right.
Can you target your own characters in combat? Oh, you can. I'm going to start attacking my own characters turn 1.
Priority points.
This is pretty brave. Seeker Cavalcade. So this is 2 to 6 units of Seekers or Hellstriders in any combination.
Or 0 to 4 units of Seeker Chariots. So this is, I guess, emphasizing speed.
I love this one because a model from this battalion is eligible to fight in the combat phase if it's within 6 of an enemy. And it can pile in an extra 3.
Right.
So you can just run up to somebody 6 inches away, 4 inches away, don't charge, and just fight elsewhere, and then I'm ready to charge in or fight it over here. Again, it's about 100 and low, 120, 140-ish points. Command point, relic, blah. Okay, so now within these 3 battalions, just about every model in the book is covered. Now, if you take these 3 and you pay another 120 points for the Hedonite host, the Hedonite host has all 3 of these. And it gives you +1 bravery to every model in the detachment, which is your army. It gives you an army that has 1 drop. It is a 1-drop army. It's giving you 4 command points and 4 additional relics. And another ability it gives you, I want the battalion to give you 4 additionals because you have 4 battalions. You have 4 command points, 4 relics. And the Hedonite host gives you D3 depravity points in your hero phase.
Every hero phase.
Yes. So
it's expensive.
It's
like 500 and what?
560?
560.
It's a quarter of your army to have all of this.
But you're getting 4 relics.
4 relics. 4 additional relics. So you're 5 relics.
5 relics.
You're going to start off with 4 command points when the game starts.
Oh.
You have Bravey 11 army. You're gaining depravity points right away. Extra, what do you call it? Command point per turn per die roll because you're Supreme Seabright. And you have some shenanigans with the Secret Cavalcade fighting in. So I'm going to try to make this work. The problem I see with this is I have to work it out. After you spend like 1,000 points on characters and then 560 points on all these battalions, you don't have a lot of points left over to fill the battalions. So you probably have to sacrifice some of the bigger characters.
I definitely don't think you'll be able to take the Keeper. And if you do, everything else is going to suffer.
You got to, though. Yeah, I love that thing. I know. Okay, so it's something
I think it's going to be like 2,500 point list, maybe.
It's something I want to work on, see if I can make work. Okay, that being said, so the Hedonite host is the battalion of the other 3 battalions. The reason why we had to go over those is now when we go back over to the hosts, like the Invaders, Godseekers, and such, they will modify which battalions. So the Hedonite host brings 1 of the Command 1 to 3 of the Epicurean, and 1 to 3 of the Seekers. So those numbers are going to change. Oh, and you must choose a host. You can't choose.
It's not like unaligned.
Yeah, you have to have 1 of those 3. Wrong way. All right, we were on the Invaders. Okay, so the Invaders, they give you a special rule. Figureheads of the Dark Prince. An Invader host can have up to 3 generals instead of 1. Only 1 of the generals can have a command trait. But all 3 are considered to be a general for the purpose of using command abilities.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that extends your aura of reroll charges to 12 inches on multiple characters, or a 6-inch auto run to multiple characters.
But it's your choice which one of these.
Which 3?
Which one of the 3 has the command trait.
Also, there's a character here that has its own command ability that can only be used if he's the general. And now he doesn't have to be your general if he's part of this, and you can still use the command ability.
Yeah.
There's a couple of... It's okay. It's not bad. However, an Invader's host general cannot use a command trait or command ability while they're within 12 inches of other friendly Invader host generals. So there's a big rivalry on these ones. These are the hordes. These are the Slaanesh characters vying for power. So they don't like to work with each other. In addition, each time one of your generals is slain for the first time, you receive 1 command point. It's okay. 3 rules are great. Not my favorite of the 3, but not terrible.
There's the next one called Escalating Havoc. At the start of your hero phase, you receive D3 depravity points if a friendly invader's host units are wholly within enemy territory. If 3 or more friendly invader host units are wholly within enemy territory at the start of your hero phase, you receive D6 depravity points instead of D3. That's pretty good.
Okay, so this would have been amazing a little while ago, back when most of the maps had their zones, like the half the map.
Okay.
Now that we're seeing your territory being your deployment zone more and more, it's not. You have to get like way across the field.
So I think if you're going to be running invaders, this is going to be heavily used with seekers, things that are very fast.
I can see this. My first thoughts are this is your multiple small unit army.
You think so?
I think so. Again, not sure. Who knows how this ended up playing when we start, working out the kinks. Now the invaders. The invaders' Hedonite host must contain 2 to 4 Epicurean revelers instead of 1 to 3. So you have to have more units of Demonettes in this army.
And
you only have to have 0 to 2 Seekers instead of 1 to 3 Seeker Cavalcades.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have any Seeker Cavalcades if you play Invaders. So Invaders want you to play with a lot of Demonettes.
that's true too, I suppose.
Yeah.
I can see also wanting to play with seekers.
Yeah, you
Because
can.
of speed.
You can still
But
add
it
the
says
Cavalcade,
0. It says
but
0 if you want. If you don't want one.
if you want to play the Hedonite host, you don't have to bring any Seeker Cavalcades, but you do have to bring 2 Epicurean Revelers, 2 of their battalions.
And I can see your point with
Really,
actually
really?
wanting to play with multiple, maybe small units of demons.
Yeah.
I can
No,
see
they're Again, I'm finding killing is important, but table control, objective control is more important. We have 6 command traits and 6 relics. We might as well. Yeah, let's go over them. Why not?
Sure.
Let's do the first command trait, best of the best. You reroll wound rolls for attacks made by this general while it is within 6 of another hero. So you gotta show off for the other heroes. It's all right. It's not terrible.
Now here's a question. It doesn't say enemy hero or friendly hero.
Didn't notice that. You're right. I assumed friendly, but you're right. It says within 6 of another hero.
So can you be within an enemy hero?
Yep.
Or can you be within... That's the thing. It doesn't say.
But it does. It says another hero.
So I guess it could be any hero.
Yeah, any hero. All right, it's a little bit better. We have to show off.
Then we have Glory Hog. At the end of the combat phase, if any enemy units are destroyed in the combat phase and the general is on the battlefield, you receive 1 command point.
Okay. We have Hurler of Obscenities. At the start of the combat phase, you pick 1 enemy hero within 6 of the general. Until the end of the combat phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that enemy hero, but subtract 1 from the saving rolls. So you make them angry. They hit a little bit better, but they're -1 to save.
Then we have Territorial. Add 1 to the number of depravity points you receive from the Escalating Havoc battle trait if this general is wholly within enemy territory at the start of your hero phase.
It could be good, but situational.
Yeah.
Skin Taker. At the end of the combat phase, if enemy models were slain by wounds inflicted by this general, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to the general. Fantastic.
And
That's the one for me.
And that's actually the one, if you're within that piece of terrain, you take a wound from the depravity point, boom, you heal.
There's only one of many ways of healing.
Yeah.
So this is the invader command ability for me.
Yep. And then there's the last one for Delusions of Infallibility. Add 1 to the wound characteristics of this general. Not bad.
Well, I mean... Yeah, I have right. Okay, so relics. The first one for the invaders are the Rod of Misrule. At the start of hero phase, roll a die. On a 1, your opponent receives 1 command point. On a 2 to 5, you receive a command point. On a 6, you receive D3 command points. Okay, so let's say you're playing invaders, you have a bunch of small units, you have huge auras of reroll charges or auto runs of 6. You want those command points, right? This is just extra command points, extra runs. It's a good relic for the invaders.
And especially if you want to start, what's it called? Hoarding command points. And all that. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
We then have the Rapier of Ecstatic Conquest. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with the weapon is 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage.
I'm not a fan of these ones, but I know some people like them. We have the Whip of Subversion. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 6 of the bearer, pick 1 melee weapon that hero is armed with, and then pick another enemy within 1 of that hero. The other unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the attack characteristics of the melee weapon that you picked. So basically, I pick a character within 6. I lash my whip around his hand. I take his sword and I attack one of his own units with it. So you just make them hit their own units for mortal wounds. Could be good, but at the end of the combat phase, I want all my enemies to be dead. But if you know you have it.
Yeah. We then have the icon of infinite excess. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, the bearer can use this artifact. If they do so until the end of the combat phase, add 1 to the hit rolls for the units that were wholly within 12 inches of the bearer at the start of the combat phase.
This is the one I got overly excited about before the unmodified 6.
Yeah.
Still pretty good though. The Fallacious Gift. After setup is complete, but before battle begins, pick one enemy hero and pick one of their weapons. At the end of each battle round in which that hero has attacked with that weapon, the hero suffers 1 mortal wound. Can you choose not to attack with a weapon?
So,
I think you must attack.
I think so.
Yeah. Pretty sure you must attack. So you're slowly whittling away wounds on a character.
And then we have the Beguiling Gem. Steve, you're a gem in my heart. At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy hero within 3 inches of the bearer and roll 3d6. If the roll is greater than the hero's bravery characteristic, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristics of all of that hero's melee weapons to a minimum of 0 until the start of that phase. That's not bad. So
it's not terrible.
You're
no.
making that enemy hero not attack. That
No.
could be...
So, yeah, this is the Invaders. Not either of our favorite, but I think very playable.
Yeah.
All right, Pretenders are next. This is your favorite, I believe.
This is my favorite.
Okay, so they have their allegiance, or sorry, their special rules. Heir to the throne. If the general is a pretender or host army is a hero, they have 2 different command traits instead of 1 command trait. Now, this is really good when we get to the relics and stuff, or sorry, the command traits. There's some pretty good combos here. You randomly generate the traits. Well, again, not important there. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by melee and missile weapons for friendly pretender host units while they have 10 or more models.
That is
so
huge.
your demonettes are just going to be rerolling 1s as long as they're 10 or more models.
That is big.
However, it is. There are tons of ways to get reroll 1s, as we'll get to shortly.
Yep. I then have another rule called Pretender's Hedonite Host. A supreme Cybard's battalion in a Pretender's Host army must only have 1 Chaos Slaanesh hero instead of 3 to 6. This is probably, Steve and I were talking about this. This is probably the biggest downside to the Pretender's Host battalion traits. I mean, you don't have to take the Supreme Battalion, which Steve and I were talking about. That's a 560 thing. I probably won't be taking that. I'm not a big fan of it.
I wouldn't try with the Pretenders.
Yeah.
This is such a huge nerf to that because the Seaberate host has 3 to 6 characters, heroes, and then you roll a die. If it's equal to or less than the heroes in the unit in that battalion, you get a command point. Well, this one only allows you to have 1 hero in it, so you have to spend 120 points for 1 character to roll a die, and a 1 or less will get a command point.
Yes.
Now, you still get a command point that the battalion buys you, and the relic the battalion buys you, but this doesn't feel right. This one feels like a mistake.
But narrative-wise, I understand.
But narrative-wise, yes.
This one hero believes that they are Slaanesh incarnate. So rule-wise, I don't like it, but narrative-wise, it makes total sense. Yeah.
Now, Warlord Supreme is their last ability. At the start of your hero phase, receive D3 depravity points if your general is within 3 inches of enemy units. If he's within 3 inches of, was it 3? 3 or more enemy units, you get D6 unit depravity points. Not bad. A little better on the other one. A little easier to get than the Invaders. Not bad. Okay, we have Pretender's Hosts command trait. Remember, one of your general can have 2 of these.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to want to be choosing 2. The first one we have is Strength of Godhood. Once per combat phase in step 4 of the attack sequence, you can add a D3 to the damage inflicted by 1 successful attack made by this general.
I don't know if I like it. One time in the game after attack goes through.
In step 4,
I can add D3 damage.
It feels clunky.
Yeah.
And if you're putting this on like a what is it? Not the Seeker, the
Keeper.
The Keeper already does a huge amount of wounds.
Tons.
So
I don't think I would ever take it's not terrible, but I wouldn't take it over the other choices in this list.
There's so many other good ones.
Yeah. Monarch of Lies. At the start of the combat phase, pick 1 enemy hero within 3 of this general. Subtract 1 for hit rolls for attacks made by the enemy hero in that phase. That is so good, but not the best. I love this one. but they're better.
Yep. We then have the True Child of Slaanesh. Like my little little things. At the start of the first battle round, before determining which player has the first turn, roll 6 dice. You receive 1 depravity point for each roll of a 5+. This one's pretty decent if you want to start racking in those depravity points, but it's on a 5+.
Right, now you could get a bunch. Again, I don't think summoning is going to be that big a deal with this army. Or it's going to be game changing, but it's not going to be mainly the way this army plays.
If you want to have fun with your opponent and you're not looking to really add buffs, this is one you want to take. Hey, let's have some fun. Yep. More like how they say the beer and pretzels kind of game.
Yep.
That's what I would do. I take this one and then maybe a really good one.
Well, if you just want to try to skew in the summoning, there's one right there. There's your one, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Strongest Alone. I love this one.
This is a really good one.
This is my favorite. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by this general while there are no friendly models within 6. So if your general's off by him or herself, boom, rerolling all hits.
Yeah.
Just need 6 inches away from your own units. Not a problem. You put them in the Keeper's Secrets and send her out.
Yep.
Or him.
This is a really fun one because I think you were saying that God Beasts are one of your favorite.
This is the one I would combo Strongest Alone with this one right here.
Yeah. So I think there may be a little bit of rivalry between the Pretenders and the God Beasts. So Hunter of the God Beasts. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by successful attacks made by this general that target a monster. So
Strongest Alone and Hunter of God Beasts. So you're going to reroll all hits if you're by yourself and add 1 to damage to monsters. We're gonna keep that in mind when we talk about the Keeper of Secrets later on. And then we got lastly the Inspirer. Do not take battle shock tests or friendly pretender hosts while they're wholly within 9 inches.
This one is good too, though.
I don't think you'll need to. The way I play, I don't think I'll need this. But again, being a battle shock, not a bad thing.
See, the way I play, I'm very even if you've watched my Bat Reds,
because you're Bravery 10, based across the board, with the exception of Hellstriders.
That's true too, but even with my Bat Reps, when you watch with my Daughters of Cain, I'm very much with my old school Bretonians. I love charging in. So I may be using this every once in a while because I love getting in my opponent's face right away. Maybe turn 2, going right for the throat. So I may be going with this every once in a while. But I agree with Steve. Strongest Alone and Hunter of God Beasts. These are the 2 to use if you are going to go with
on a Keeper Secrets, and you want that Keeper Secrets to go out there and just smash face.
Absolutely, because they are the embodiment of Slaanesh.
The Crown of Dark Secrets is the first of our artifacts. At the start of the first battle round, pick 1 enemy hero. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by the bearer that target that hero. You can reroll unbinding rolls for unbinding attacks made for the bearer from spells cast by that hero. You pick, you do your thing, you pick your thing. Not terrible.
Yep. The next artifact is Pendant of Slaanesh.
Best one.
At the start of your hero phase, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to the bearer. Your Keeper of Secrets is going to be an absolute beast, slaying things and healing.
Because the Keeper of Secrets has a couple other ways of healing. So there's 2 ways about this. On the Keeper of Secrets is where probably I want it and just send her out there and just chop things up and keep healing, right? Or you put it on another character who's standing by the Thane of Slaanesh and just cut, heal, cut, heal, cut, heal.
Yeah.
If you are playing Pretenders and you have any extra relics, this one's getting used. This one's getting used for sure. The Silver Slash is another good one. This is okay. So keep in mind, Strongest Alone and Hunter of God Beasts, Silver Slash. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons, add 2 attacks to it.
This one's good too.
So you take that one with Strongest Alone and Hunter of God Beasts, and whatever you charge is dead.
Especially for when we go back to the Keeper of Secrets, the amount of damage output that the Seeker can do. Is it Seeker? No, the Keeper.
Keeper of Secrets.
Oh my goodness.
Scepter of Domination. At the start of the hero phase, the bearer is within 12 of enemy heroes, and your opponent has a command point to roll a die. On a 4+, your opponent loses 1 command point, and you receive 1 command point. I will use this. If I have enough relics to spread around, I'm using this.
Why not?
So this is the 3rd relic here that I want in my army. That's why I like the Pretenders. Their command traits are pretty good. Relics are really good.
They're good. The next one we have is the Breath Taker. Steve, you always take my breath away. You can re-roll the dice I gotta start that over. You can re-roll the dice roll that determines if an enemy hero within 3 inches of the bearer is affected by the locus of diversion battle trait.
4th amazing relic in the Pretenders. 4th one. So remember that special rule we have, any of our characters can pick a unit within 6 inches in the combat phase, you roll a die on a 4+, that unit fights last. That is so good. Well, what if you really need somebody, you can only attempt once per unit, right? What if you really want that Leviathan to fight last? Well, this relic will allow you to reroll that die.
Yeah.
This is the 4th relic I want in my army.
Yeah.
And finally, we get the Mask of Spiteful Beauty.
Hey, this guy.
At the start of your hero phase, pick one enemy unit within 6 of the bearer, subtract 2 from the bravery characteristics until your next hero phase. There are other ways to lower bravery. That is a good ability. It's a good relic. It's not as good as the other 4, but that would be the 5th one I would choose. But those other 4 are so good. And that is the Pretenders. Now, my favorite, the God Seekers. Their special rule is add 1 to charge rolls. Boom. A God Seeker Hedonite host doesn't have to have the Epicurean battalion. It only has to have 0 to 2, but it must have 2 to 4 Seeker Cavalcades. Obviously, right? They're the ones looking for Slaanesh. At the end of your charge phase, you receive D3 depravity points if any of your units made a charge. If 3 or more units, you get D6. This is the best one.
That I think that's really, really, especially if you want to, like you were saying, you want to play fast. You're going to be getting depravity points very, very quickly.
You're going to charge wherever you want them, right? Because, I mean, Seekers move 14 inches, I believe. They can run 2d6 and charge.
This is Slaanesh's surgical knife.
Yes. This is my favorite. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, so...
we got one on next to the command traits. The first one we have is the Hunter Supreme. You can re-roll hit and wound rolls of 1 attacks made by this general if the general made a charge move in the same turn. This is a good one.
Hitting the person you're putting on, the character you're putting on is hitting wounding on 3s. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Thrill Seeker. The general can run and still charge later in the same turn. If the general already can do that, it adds 3 to its charge. Plus the 1 from Godseeker, so adding 4 to your charge. Now, the person the model I put it on doesn't have that ability, but running and charging, especially with the way to get command points, you're going to make that 6-inch run and then charge.
The next one is Into the Fray. This is the Liam Neeson of Slaanesh. If you guys haven't watched that movie, The Grey, it's a movie quote. Anyway, the hit roll of the first attack made by this general during the battle is automatically a 6.
Okay. I don't want to use my command ability on this, but it's also a really good ability because remember, a 6 to hit is 2 hits. So you get that 1 weapon and you're guaranteed. I just got 2 hits with it. Now it's the first attack, so I mean, it could be. I like the other 2 more, but it could be really good. Thrill Sniffer. Trail Sniffer.
It sounds weird.
I like to sniff the thrill.
The trail?
The thrill.
It's a trail.
It's a thrill. At the start of your hero phase, roll a dice. Roll a dice for this general. If your general is wholly within enemy territory, on a 3+, add 1 of the attack characteristics of the general's melee weapons until your next hero phase. That is so good.
It's pretty good.
Well, keep our Seekers with +1 attack to all the attacks, right?
Yeah.
Is it 1? I want the attack characteristics.
I want the attack
melee weapons. Yeah, that's really good. But again, you got to be on the other side of the table.
Next one is Symphoniac. At the start of the combat phase, roll 1 die for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this general. On a 2+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Now, this could be good if there are multiple units with more than one. What's it called? More than 1 wound characteristic, because this is a way for you to generate depravity points.
Yeah, that's how you're right. That's how you look at it. Because I'm reading this and like, I don't care.
Exactly. Because if there's multiple units with 1 wound, who cares?
Right.
But now, if there's multiple units that have 2 wounds, 3 wounds, 4 wounds, boom, you're getting your depravity points.
Yep. Last we have Speed Chaser. The general can retreat and still charge. I like Hunter Supreme and Thrill Seeker more. That's all.
Going over into the artifacts, the first one we have is Camo of the Dark Prince. What would the Camo of the Dark Prince be? Brie? Maybe it's Brie. Brie cheese, that's it.
It's cameo. That's fine. We both did one.
Now we're even.
My eyes are watery.
Once per battle, at the start of your hero. I said camo. Oh
What is the Dark Prince's camo?
no. It's
rouge.
It's breechies. Oh
What is it, Brie?
no. Oh no. Okay. Cameo on the Dark Prince. Sorry, this is why we're doing Slaanesh here, folks. All right, once per battle at the start of your hero phase, the bearer can use the artifact. He sure can. If they do so, you receive 1 command point, and until your next hero phase, you do not have to take a battle shock test for friendly Chaos Slaanesh units while they are wholly within 18 inches of the bearer. I think
What
that's pretty
happens
good.
is the Dark Prince puts his camo on, and the whole army's like, "Where'd the boss go?"
He offers them a big platter of brie cheese, and they are immediately immune to battle shock. I think that's pretty
Is
good.
there a gas leak in here? Girdle of the Realm Racer. Subtract 1 from the bearer's wound characteristics. Now the bearer can fly. I like it. I love it. I want more of it.
That's pretty good. They immediately just sprout wings or...
Yeah.
They
No,
can
it's the girdle.
fly,
Of the, yeah, I love it. I want fly on my Keeper of Secrets for 1 less wound. Whatever.
Oh no, I gotta pronounce this one. They're on...
The voice box.
The voice box of Slaanesh. I can pronounce that first word. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero that is within 3 inches of the bearer. Subtract 1 from the attack characteristics of melee weapons used by that hero to a minimum of 1 until the start of that phase.
All right. The Lash of Despair. At the start of your shooting phase, you can roll a die for each enemy unit within 6 of the bearer. On a 4+, suffers 1 mortal wound. Again, not great.
Depravity points.
Depravity points.
You got to think outside the box. It's meh, but depravity points, that's the name of the game if you want to start summoning. Yeah. We then have the Enrapturing Circlet.
Circlet.
The Circlet.
Circlet.
The Circlet.
Circlet.
These are the French Slaanesh.
Oh, that is right. I did read that somewhere.
Yeah, it's in
Le
parentheses.
Slaanesh.
Le Slaanesh. Enemy units within 3 inches of the bearer cannot retreat. In addition, at the start of your hero phase, roll a die for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. On a 2+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Again, it's more for depravity
You gotta
points.
survive. You gotta survive, but yeah.
Yep.
The Bindings of Slaanesh is their last relic. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 of the bearer and roll 2d6. If the roll is greater than the enemy hero's movement characteristic, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by the enemy hero until the end of that phase. In addition, if the roll is greater than the enemy wounds characteristics, the enemy hero suffers a d3 mortal wounds. It's not bad. I like it. It's one of my favorites in this list. You're gonna slow them down, or make them harder to hit and possibly do d3 mortal wounds. It's one of my favorites, though. I like to fly a lot.
Yeah. And those are the 3 main hosts that Slaanesh offers.
I suspect Pretenders are the one.
Yeah.
Though I
they're my
like some
favorite.
God Seekers. Though, again, I can see ways to play all 3. So, no complaints there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some lores. Real quick before we do that, most of the characters are wizards.
The majority of them are.
And most of the characters have a spell called Acquiescence. We'll point out who does and who doesn't as we go through the War Scrolls. Acquiescence is a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 18 of the caster. And you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks to target that unit. So a character will pick one of your enemy units, and our models reroll 1s to hit. Now the reason why I'm pointing this out, a lot of characters have that spell, and that spell, Acquiescence, can be attempted by everybody who has the spell only once each. So everybody can cast Acquiescence in this army if you want. Just you only cast it once each.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then of course we have a Lore Slaanesh, we get to pick some spells. We also have the Forbidden Secrets of Slaanesh. It's a lore of 3 spells only for greater demons, and 3 spells for mortals. Now there are no mortals in this book, but if you want to bring in your...
Well, there's kind of the mortals. There's
that's true, you're right, they're the secret, but there's no mortal heroes.
Right.
If you want to bring in some Warriors of Chaos, whatever, and have them Slaanesh and just the spells they can pick. Should we go over these? What do you think?
Yeah, we can go over them really quickly.
All right, so let's go to the 6th lore of Slaanesh. So demons, Slaanesh demon wizards only. Casting value of 5 for the Lash of Slaanesh. Pick 1 point in the battlefield within 12 of the caster, invisible to them. Draw an imaginary line 1 millimeter wide between that point and the closest part of the caster's base. Roll a die for each model the line crosses, and a 4+1 mortal wound. It's 5+ to cast. It's not terrible. Again, if you hit multiple wound models, depravity points.
We then have the Pavane of Slaanesh. The Pavane of Slaanesh has a casting value of 7, so not bad on 2 dice. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy hero within 6 inches of the caster that is visible to them, and roll a number of dice equal to that hero's move characteristic. For each 5+, that hero suffers 1 mortal wound. That is not bad.
It's depravity. It's hurting characters and getting depravity points.
Yep.
It's casting value 7 though. It's the one thing.
Well, that's not bad on 2 dice. It's the average.
If it was 6, I would say it's a good spell. And when it's 7, it's not. It's okay spell.
It can be done.
Right. Hysterical Frenzy has a casting value of 7. It's successfully cast. Pick 1 enemy unit wholly within 18 of the caster, invisible to them. Roll 1 die for each model unit. For each 6, the unit suffers a D3 mortal wounds.
Depravity points.
Wait a second. That is really good. That's the Horde Chopper. Every 6 is D3 mortal wounds. Before we go on to the next one, I want to check something.
For what?
I want the next spell.
Soul Slice Shards. Casting value of 5, so this one's a little bit easier. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them and roll 2d6. If the roll is higher than the unit's bravery characteristic, that unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the difference between the bravery characteristic and the roll. So essentially, if you spike it, you can do a bunch of mortal wounds.
Phantasmagoria, casting value of 7, is successfully cast. Pick 1 enemy unit within 18 of the caster and invisible to them. Roll 6 dice for each 5+. Until your next hero phase, subtract 1 from that unit's bravery. Again, another way, especially with those units. What are those Dracoth Rider guys called? You just kill 1 and lower their bravery enough, the other one just takes off.
Yeah. We then have the last one for the lore of Slaanesh, the Demon Wizards only, Born of Damnation. Casting value of 5 is successfully cast. Pick 1 friendly Hedonite hero within 6 inches of the caster that is visible to them. You can heal 1 wound allocated to that hero. If the casting roll was 10+, you can heal D3 wounds instead of 1.
Healing.
Yeah.
Healing.
Just another way.
5+ to cast to heal. All right, we have 3 Forbidden Secrets of Slaanesh. Greater Demons only. Man, I am real sorry about that. Song of Secrets has a casting value of 7. It's successfully cast. Pick 1 enemy unit wholly within 18 of the caster and visible to them. Roll 1 die for each model unit. For each 6, you should receive 1 depravity point. I don't... No, thank you. No, thank you. No. Progeny of Damnation, casting value of 7. Pick 1 friendly demon Hedonite hero within 6 of the caster, who will probably be himself, and heal D3 wounds.
Another way of healing.
If you roll 10+, D6 wounds.
We then have the Sloth Stupor. It's a casting value of 8, so this one's a little bit more difficult. Pick 1 enemy hero within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Until your next hero phase, that hero cannot use command abilities and cannot run or attempt to charge. That's huge.
See, here's the frustrating thing about this. For me, my personality, is I never want to take that because it's casting value of 8. But I guarantee there's a situation where if I had that spell on my model and I cast it right now, it's going to win me the game.
Yeah.
So it's a good spell, but it's so situational. So situational. All right, for the mortals, you can have, there's 3 spells for them. Battle Rapture, casting value of 5. Pick 1 friendly mortal Slaanesh unit wholly within 18 of the caster, invisible to them. Do not take battle shock tests. If the caster rolls 10+, pick 3 units instead of 1.
We then have Dark Delusions, casting value of 5. Successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit wholly within 18 inches of the caster and roll 2d6. If the roll is equal to or greater than the unit's bravery characteristic, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks that target the unit until the next hero phase.
And Hell Shriek, casting value of 5. Roll die for each enemy roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 of the caster, and a 5+ enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay. All right, those are our spells, our powers. We went through our battalions. Let's go through what you've all been waiting for. Let's do the endless spells last. Let's do the Keeper of Secrets. Brand new model, new stats, 14 wounds. Moves, I think, it moves 14, 4 up save, bravery of 10, about 360-ish points. It comes with elegant great blade and impaling claws, and it can also have a ritual knife, a sinister hand, a living whip, or a shining aegis. Those 4 things are on our table on a couple of their models. We'll go over that. So its main weapon is an elegant great blade, a 2-inch reach. It starts with 4 attacks that degrades, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. The impaling claws, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, starts at 5 damage and then degrades.
That's huge.
And then you get to pick. That's 3 of his 4 hands. The 4th hand can be a ritual blade, the whip, the shield, or a claw. It's going to be the claw every time, I think. So the ritual blade and the claw have the same attack profile. It's 1 attack, 2s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. That's not what it's for. So the ritual blade, you pick 1 enemy model within 1 of this model and roll a dice. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 5, the enemy model suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. It's not terrible. There are other things that are better. The Shining Aegis is a shield that gives the model ignore damage of 6+. I like it. Other things are better. You can have a whip. The whip is just a 6-inch range attack that hits and wounds on 3s for 1 damage. But it also gives you ability. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy monster within 6 of this model and roll a die. On a 3+, pick 1 melee weapon that the enemy monster is armed with. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that weapon. Pretty good. But lastly, it has the Sinistrous hand. If this model is armed with the Sinistrous hand, at the end of the combat phase, if any enemy models were slain by wounds inflicted by this model's attacks in that combat phase, not by the hand, any of this model's attacks, you can heal D3 wounds.
That's pretty good.
If it a hero, yeah. If you do any wounds to a hero, if you kill any heroes, it's D6 healed wounds to D3. I want that heal every time. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to take that claw and just keep healing. Because that's the most frustrating thing when that monster just keeps healing. There's a couple of spells, this hand. There's a relic for there's a relic or command trade for the printers? I think it's a relic. There are tons of ways to keep healing this model.
There's one, it has another ability, which I absolutely love. I find it hilarious. It's called the Dark Temptation. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 inches of this model and ask your opponent if they wish the hero to accept the temptation. If they refuse, the hero suffers D3 mortal wounds. If they accept, they add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by the hero. Then at the start of the next combat phase, you roll a die. On a 1 to 3, the hero no longer receives the modifier to the hit rolls. On a 4 to 6, they die. No saves, they just gone.
Love it.
That is incredible. Don't ever take the deal. But you know what? Take the deal. I dare you.
It's a temptation.
Yeah, why aren't you tempted?
So good. You also have delicate precision. If unmodified rune roll for attack is made with this weapon is a 6. Made with a melee weapon. If this model rolls a 6 to wound, the attack is just. I'm so sorry. The attack just does mortal wounds equal to its damage. So if you roll 6 to wound for the Keeper of Secrets, you don't roll saves, you just do straight mortal wounds. Fantastic ability. We also have, it's a wizard that can cast and unbind 2 spells. Comes with the Cacophonic Choir, casting value of 6, successfully cast, roll 2d6. Each enemy unit within 6 of the caster that has a bravery characteristic less than the roll suffers D3 mortal wounds. You're going to make depravity points. You're going to hand out those wounds. I love that spell. It's only casting value of 6.
And then it has a command ability called Excess of Violence.
Love it.
You can use this command ability in the combat phase when it is your turn to pick, an enemy unit, pick a unit to fight with. If you do so, pick one friendly Hedonite unit that has already fought once in the combat phase and is wholly within 12 inches of a model with this command ability. That unit can be selected to fight for a second time if it is within 3 inches of enemy units. You do not pick the same unit to benefit from this command ability more than once in the same phase. So, those demonettes, boom, fight again. I love it. That's incredible.
Oh, Keeper Secrets, boom, fight again. All right, let's skip over the next one real quick. We need to talk about the character version of this model called Shalaxi Hellbane?
Yeah, that's how to pronounce it.
Okay.
Shalaxi.
I think it's Shalaxi.
Shalaxi.
I'll call it Hellbane. So Hellbane here is same stats. Burn. Hellbane comes with a Soul Piercer, is a spear, and has the Living Whip. So no Healing Claw. So we know what the Living Whip does. The Soul Piercer is only his main weapon. Instead of that Elegant Great Blade for 4 attacks, it has 1 attack, 2s, and it starts at 2s to wound, but that degrades. 2s and 2s, -3 d6 damage. Hellbane has a Cloak of Constriction. Add 1 to save rolls made by melee weapons by enemy heroes that target this model. The same Delicate Precision special roll, a 6 to wound, just bypasses the save, does mortal wounds. You can have the Shiny Aegis instead of the Living Whip. So you can have ignore damage on 6 or have the whip. Killing Stroke. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 of this model. If you do so, all attacks made by this model in that combat phase must target that model, but damage characteristics from this model's Soul Piercer is 6 instead of d6.
He is a hero hunter.
But remember, he has 1 attack. He's a named character. You're not going to add any relics or command abilities. Refined Senses is his spell. He's a wizard as well. He cast an Unbind 2. Casting value of 4. It's successfully cast until your next hero phase. You can reroll hits for attacks made by the caster to target a hero. And you can reroll save rolls for attacks made by heroes that target the caster.
What's your opinion of him?
Well, there's one more thing, and then I'll tell you why I don't like him. I'm not a fan. The challenge for this guy at the start of the an enemy charge phase, you pick 1 enemy hero within 12 and ask your opponent if they accept the challenge. D3 if they blah blah blah. If they accept, the hero must charge. It must finish within ½ inch of Hellbane here. And we're going to lost my spot. In addition, if the challenge accepted, any attacks a hero made with the following combat phase must target this model. Where's the rest of this stuff?
Is that it?
Why is the non-versions better? Why is the non-name... Dark Temptation is significantly better.
But the model for him is so nice.
Okay, here's my struggles. Let's talk about. This guy's about 20 or 40. He's 20 points cheaper than the non-name version. You can't augment him with relics or command abilities. He doesn't have the. I'm not. This is 340-ish points for a model with 3 attacks. Granted, they're a lot of damage, but in my experience, only 3 attacks. You're not going to do much. If you miss 1, you've a huge chunk of your damage gone. You can't really augment him with command abilities and traits. I'd rather have 2 Keeper Secrets, but here's my struggle. The model is beautiful.
The model, I mean, casting value of 4, so you can get that off. You can re-roll your attacks for him. And you can re-roll saved rolls for attacks. So your attacks can hit.
Yeah,
And instead of doing d6, you'll do 6. With the Soul Piercer -3 at 6 damage instead of d6. He might be worth it.
Is part of the
And
challenge missing? He's barely cheaper. I just don't see it. I don't see the purpose of this guy.
4+ save.
3+ against heroes, but like all his buffs are about heroes attacking him. With that being the case, your opponent with any kind of common sense knows not to let their heroes get with this guy. I don't see this. I don't like this guy at all. Maybe I'm missing something.
The model's incredible though.
Now here's a struggle. It's pretty good in 40k, so we want to build one. Because obviously we have our 40k rules in the instruction manual.
See, I haven't seen him yet in 40k, and he's pretty good in 40k.
He's pretty good in 40k.
I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna build one regardless.
Well,
and if he's good or not, I'm either gonna use him or he's gonna sit on my shelf.
So my big thing is, would anybody care really if I just used him as another keeper of secrets? Because that's what I think is going to happen. I'm going to use him as a second keeper of secrets. I don't know. I'm going to comment below. Tell me if I'm missing something. I'm going to read this challenge one more time. At the start of the enemy charge phase, you can pick one enemy hero within 12 of this model and more than 3 inches away from models from your army. Ask the opponent if they wish the hero to accept Shalakshi's challenge. If they refuse, the hero suffers D3 mortal wounds. If they accept, the hero must charge and finish a charge move within half inch of this model, if it is possible to do so. In addition, if the challenge is accepted, any attacks that hero makes in the following combat phase must target this model. So basically, I have a bunch of buffs against your hero that challenge you to fight me. You can just say no and take D3 mortal wounds. I'm going to say no every time, because if I send my hero after this guy, he might kill me, or he might not, because he has 3 attacks.
But those 3 attacks will always do 6 mortal wounds potentially.
No, it's not mortal wounds. It's damage characteristics 6.
Sorry, yeah. You're right.
I don't see it.
Yeah, they'll always refuse every time.
Yeah,
This guy will never be in combat.
So again, every now and then, I'll be very honest with you. Every now
Do
and
you
then,
have to always issue a challenge?
No, but that's all this guy does. So
yeah, there's always
every now and then
you always take the regular keeper.
Every time in AOS every time. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm blind to something, and you're screaming at the screen. You said blah, Steve. You said blah. Don't you understand that? So is there something here I'm just missing? And if I'm not, I don't know. I don't see it. Not a fan. I don't like the named character in AOS. I'd rather have 2 Keeper of Secrets, which is only slightly more expensive. But I can augment that Keeper of Secrets with relics.
I don't know.
There's a whole book of blind sorceries of fantastic things, if you don't like the ones that are in this book. And there's a bunch of good ones in here. A bunch of good ones.
I'm still going to build both.
That's the frustrating thing. I think I probably am as well. It's just, I'll probably have to magnetize this one.
You're going to magnetize it?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. And I don't like magnetizing anymore. Because if you change out the head and the hands...
I don't like magnetizing. I'd rather have 3, to be very honest.
These are like 140 bucks a piece.
Bruh.
No, I think they're 170 a piece Canadian.
Are they really?
I have to check. I think it's... I shouldn't say.
Bruh,
I have to check.
They're beautiful, though.
All right, let's talk... We've been going on for a while. Let's go a little faster. All right, Sileski? Is that right to you? Sileski? Our new Demon Prince?
So that's... Sure.
9 wounds, 8-inch move, 4 save, 10 bravery, 2 weapons, axe of domination. Both weapons are 2-inch range. The axe is 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, minus 2 d3 damage. The whip is 8 attacks, 3s and 4s, minus 1 damage. This is a named character. It can run and charge. It's a wizard. Cast and Unbind 1. Cast Subvert as a spell. Casting value of 7. Pick 1 enemy hero with an 18. That hero cannot use command abilities. That's pretty good.
And the person can still, this model can still run and charge in the same turn. Huge.
Command ability called Regal Authority does 2 different things. Uses command ability at the start of the combat phase if the model is your general and on the battlefield. If you do so until the end of the combat phase, you reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly class Slaanesh units while they're holding 18 as model. That's pretty good. That's your army within 18 inches. Rerolling once. I mean, a lot of your stuff is hitting on 4s, or your smaller stuff hitting on 4s. Yeah. So that's great. In addition, you can use this command ability at the start of the Battle Shock phase. If this model is your general and on the battlefield. If you do so until the end of that phase, do not take Battle Shock tests for Chaos Slaanesh units holding within 18 of this model. So 1 command ability, 2 different things. Okay, so there's a special rule called Deadly Symbiosis. When this model fights in the combat phase, you must pick either the Axe of Domination or the Scourging Whip. And you can only make attacks with that weapon that phase. Then, after the players have picked any other units to fight, this model can pile in and attack with the other weapon. You can choose to reroll hit rolls to attacks made with the second weapon you fight with. So picture it, if you've seen the model, it's a big guy in the demon head on top. It's basically one model, but two models. So one attacks, then the other one piles and attacks, but it's a separate choice. And the second one to attack rerolls to hits. Oh, okay, we have a new hero called the Contorted Epitome. It looks like an endless spell to me. It's a little floating mirror type thing with a couple of demonettes on it. Moves 12, has 7 wounds, 5 up save. Bravery 10, obviously. You can reroll casting and unbinding and dispelling attempts for this model. It also had cast and unbind 2 spells. It's a little pricey. It's about 200-ish points. It has the Horrible Fascination special roll. At the start of the combat phase, roll a die for each enemy unit within 6 of this model. Or, sorry, roll a die for every unit within 6 of any models of this ability, so you can't just do multiples of them. On a 4+, that unit fights at the end of the combat phase after the players have picked any other units to fight with that combat phase. If a unit that is affected by this ability is also affected by rules that will allow it to fight first, these cancel each other out. Yeah. Now, why is that different from the Locus of Distraction?
For which one, Steve?
That what I just read, and the Locus of Distraction. So that right there.
On a 4+ units on combat phase.
It's a hero, isn't it? It's a hero. Oh, Locus of Diversion. Okay, so Locus of Diversion. At the end of the charge phase, each friendly Hedonite hero, and this is a Hedonite hero, within 6 of an enemy unit can create a Locus of Diversion. If they do so, pick one enemy unit within 6, adding 2 if it's a greater demon. On a 4+, that enemy unit fights at the end of the following combat phase. And this one, at the start of the combat phase. Okay, so this Contorted Epitome can do a Locus of Diversion at the end of the charge phase. At the start of the combat phase, can basically do the exact same thing again because it's got a different name.
Interesting.
All right, that just made it a little bit better. You're not going to attempt to distract 2 units or try to kill the first one. Oh, and then you give them that relic to reroll. I like this model now. Okay.
But now you're paying for it, but the other one was free.
Well, this model is 200 points, and every character gets that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what else does this thing do?
Oh, because it's not the thing. It's yeah.
Okay, so this thing is a wizard and cast and unbind 2 spells. It can reroll casting and unbinding into spells for this model. I think I'm going to use this model in every game.
It's really good.
It comes with Overwhelming Acquiescence. Its casting value is 7, but you pick D3 units to reroll ones to hit against like everybody else's regular acquiescence. This is your caster. Yes, and each time you allocate a mortal wound to this unit on a 2+, the mortal wound is ignored.
That's huge.
Yes. Okay, the Infernal Raptress, I don't believe has changed. I want 3 in my army.
Minimum of 3.
I think minimum of 2, but I gotta get 3. You're right.
3.
I think I agree with you.
I want 3 of them too, and it's such a beautiful model.
Beauty
is a different word.
It can dispel. I don't know. I will go over it just in case anything's changed. Its attacks are the same. At the start of your hero phase, you receive 1 depravity point for every Infernal Raptress on the battlefield.
So if you want to start trying to get more summoning and you want boom, 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 you can have 3 of them. Boom, at the start of turn, you get 3 depravity points right away.
This model can dispel 1 in the spell, and it shoots. I like it. I want it. The mask is there. The Herald of Slaanesh is called the Vice Leader now. Ignores damage on a 5+. Comes with the Acquiescence spell. The Blade Bringer, I believe, is the Hellflare. Yeah.
Then we have a regular Hellflare.
Blade Bringers, character on Secret Chariots. Exalted Chariots. Fiends are fantastic.
Fiends are so good, but they're expensive.
They are expensive.
What is it, like $270 for 3?
210 for 3.
210 for 3?
Yeah, 70 points each. Seekers can move 14. I think these move 16. I think they were 16 before, because now it's only 14, but they can, run 2d6 and still charge.
Yeah. We have.
So there's a change. If any models are slain by wounds inflicted by this unit's attacks in the combat phase, add 1 of the attack characteristics of this unit's melee weapons in the next combat phase. I can't remember why it's different, but that's actually different than what it used to be.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
We have semi-mortal units with the Hellstriders with claws and spears, and then we have Hellstriders with Hell Scourges.
Yeah, so they're just Seekers with bravery of 10. Or sorry, 6 instead of 10. Yep. But they have a better save. Okay, so Seekers are 120 points, or 110, 120. Hellstriders are 100, with the 4-up save instead of a 5-up, but they have lower bravery. I think I prefer Seekers, but I might buy both. Okay. Last things to go over, we have our Endless Spells. Now, the last bit of Endless Spells haven't been great, to be honest with you. They haven't been great this edition. The Prayers and Judgments from the Fire Slayers and the Khorne have been fantastic. So I had high hopes for these. So let's go over a few of these Endless Spells. The Wheels of Excruciation. It's a predatory spell that moves 12. Chaos Slaanesh wizards can cast it. Casting value of 5. You set up wholly within 6 of the caster, and then they can make a move. When this model moves, after this model moves, roll 6 dice for each enemy unit that has any models that it has passed across. That unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each roll that is less than the unit's unmodified save characteristic. So you got the lower your armor, the more wounds you're going to take. It's like 40 points. I think it looks cool. I'm not going to buy it. It's 40 points. Okay, so you roll 6 dice, and if you hit a unit with 5-up save, you probably do 4 mortal wounds. But the chance of it coming back to hit you is, again, the problem with predatory spells. And your armor in Slaanesh isn't great. Yeah. So you're going to take mortal wounds from this thing. It will not get used, unfortunately. Yep.
I agree with that one.
The Mesmerizing Mirror. Casting value of 6. Slaanesh heroes.
Also a predatory spell.
Yep. 18. You place it with an 18. It has a special rule. And this one I'll use. Special rule called the Irresistible Lure. I'm sorry, I'm doing all the talking. I do that. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Irresistible Lure. If a unit starts a move within 12 inches of this model, it suffers D3 mortal wounds unless it finishes the move closer to this model than it was before the move was made. This ability has no effect on Chaos Slaanesh units, so you got a little bit of a buffer there.
I love it. It can anything that can control the battlefield. Now, this is a spell cast by a hero. This will give you depravity points. You put it in the middle. If you can get it in the middle of your opponent's forces, and they try to move away from it, because you can try to get close to them and cast it behind them. If they move away from it, they're taking mortal wounds.
Yeah. And then it has Gaze not into its depths. After this model is set up and after the model has moved, roll 6 dice for each hero within 6 inches of this model. Roll separately for each hero. For each 6, that hero suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the number of 6s that were rolled for that hero. Now, once again, it says hero, so that means yours as well.
Ah!
So there's another way of getting depravity points.
I thought the same thing. Chaos Slaanesh heroes are immune.
Oh.
Yes. It's only going to hurt the enemy heroes. But it's a little complicated. Instead of reading it exactly...
Where's that?
Right there.
Oh, right. I didn't say at the bottom. This ability has no effect on Chaos Slaanesh.
I'm like, I'm going to use this to build depravity points on turn 1? No. Not going to work that way. They thought of it. Okay, so how this works, I'll explain it easier. You roll, was it 6 dice?
Yeah, 6.
All right, if you roll 2 6s, you're going to do 2 mortal wounds to heroes. If you roll 3 6s, you're going to do 9 mortal wounds to heroes. You just take the 6s and multiply by how many 6s you have. So it's complicated, but it could do wounds, whatever. I don't care. It's an extra ability that might hurt enemy heroes, and I'm happy if it does. I want it to control the battlefield. This is an auto include in the list for me. Auto include.
How many points is it?
Mesmerizing Mirror is 60 points. It's the most expensive one.
That's not bad. Generally, sometimes when you're building lists, you have somewhere between 40 to that 70 points left over.
I guarantee this is gonna get in the heads of my opponents, and they're gonna move stupidly or not move when they should have because they were afraid of taking the D3 mortal wounds.
I'll take it.
Auto include for me. And then finally we have the dreadful Visage. Visage. Predatory spell that moves 8 and can fly. Casting value 7, which is up there. Cast by Chaos Slaanesh wizards. You place the holy within 12. When this model is set up, the player whose turn it is can make a move with it, obviously. After it is moved, roll 6 dice for the closest other unit within 6. If more than one other unit is equally close to players to pick, and for each roll of 4+, you do a mortal wound. So it's 40 points. You roll 6 dice. Every 4 plus is mortal wound to the closest unit. It can come back and hit you. I don't like it.
And this ability was called the Flensing Tongues.
Yep. Yes, there's got a bunch of tongues coming out of a model, which are probably going to break because it looks spindly. It also has the terrifying terrifying entity rule. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristics of models within 12 of this model, and add 1 to Chaos Slaanesh units. It's 40 points. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, it's
The wheels and predatory spells that can come back and hurt you, just they don't seem to make it on the table. But the mesmerizing mirror, love it.
such a big Slaanesh hand.
Holding a little mirror.
It's not bad. I'm sorry. The hand is good. The face with the tongues,
Well, that is our first impressions of Hedonites of Slaanesh. Both Vito and I have already purchased quite a bit of Slaanesh demons. And we're both going to have our armies. I'll probably do God Beast right away. For God Seekers, not God Beast, God Seekers.
I'm doing Pretenders.
And we're probably both going to play them in 40k. I'm playing 40k, you play in 40k. I'm going to magnetize them so that they fit on fantasy square bases as well, for the important models anyway. And yeah, that's it. We're going to see a couple of MiniWarGamers play the same army for the first time ever. Well, first time since Traitor Legion has come out. We've all played a bunch of Chaos for a while back then when that book first came out. But yeah.
They're going to be different colors.
Maybe. I'm going with dark purple and the white. Almost black.
The thing, I'm going to have different colors. Like, I like having variation, but also within a cohesive color scheme. But I also do really like that dark black, like this guy.
Like Hellbane.
So
if you guys have noticed any combos or anything that we didn't read quite properly, anything we missed, point it out in the comments below. Tell us your, I want to try this combo, and please try this list. And all your crazy, broken, mean things, I want to know all about it. So the first time my host plays Vito's host, that I know all the dirty tricks and he doesn't know them yet. So send them, not to the comments, actually send them to my email, steve@miniwargaming.com, not to Vito's, he doesn't need to know.
Or you can send them to vito@miniwargaming.com and send all the wonderful, wonderful pretender lists so we can crush Steve, because Steve is awful.
Awful. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy wargaming. Okay, we just played a game with these new Slaanesh stuff, and it is not what I expected it to be. It was stupid fun. We found some more fun things. We already have ideas of what we're gonna buy that's actually different than what you guys just watched 2 minutes ago. Things are a little bit different after playing one game, so if you wanna watch that game, it's in the MiniWarGaming Vault right now. Now, if you're not already a Vault member, you can click the link below. You have a 7-day free trial. Watch us play Beasts of Chaos versus Hedonites of Slaanesh. It was awesome.
And we've got the new models in. Brand new, fully painted. We've got the new Keeper of Secrets.
Yep, we have the Fane, obviously. Oh, in the mirror.
Yep.
Auto include just like we thought.
We've got the Epitome as well, and the Infernal and Rapturous as well. So a lot of new stuff. Make sure to check it out. Steve and I had so much fun.
It was so good.
It was great. It was a great bat route.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you in the vault. Happy wargaming.